the Ides of March meeting. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for those all that protect us around the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we're going to start tonight's meeting, if I can find my glasses, with the swearing in of our newly appointed police officers. I guess we'll start with badge number 133, which is Officer Thomas. Got it. And now for badge number 134, Officer Sinclair. I'd like to also note that Mr. Sinclair is one of our own. He lives in the town of Woodbury, and we're very proud to have you here. And last but not least, badge number 135, Officer Cole, the third. Chief, would you like to say something?
As I stated in our last meeting, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to hire these guys and get us back to staff. The three of them are a welcome addition. The two of the officers come from NYPD with a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience. Officer Coe was brought to us from the town of Newburgh and also Maybrook, and we're looking forward to working with all of them, and I'm sure they're not going to disappoint. Welcome aboard and thank you. I'd also like to put a special thank out to Lieutenant Phillips, who with the sergeants assisted me in a very, very lengthy background check with these guys. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I want to get a photo of you officers.
No phone? Nope.
He wants us all? No, Maurice. No, I'm saying he wants us in it? No, no. He wants a photo of the officers. Oh, just the officers, okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. Family members, come on up. We're going to have to get tighter than that. We're a loving family here. Come on, you guys aren't going to get it? I was going to say, I want to get it. All right.
Well, if you're not, you're not suited, go ahead, Bobby.
Officers, say it. you. Get behind them. Let's go. You might want to stand on the stairs. I don't know.
I don't have to sit on it.
Need to stretch a little. Mike, you in the front, Mike.
Right here.
Want me to kneel for you? I'll stay behind. Go. There you go.
In the middle.
You're good right there, Jackie. You're good. Bob, move a little forward. Come on. You know, they're all facing me. Hold on, wait. Come on, Bob. Come on over here. No, he's
good.
All right, everyone, look behind me. Say hello. Come on. I don't know. Cheese. There's people. Got everyone up? Packers. No.
Shots for the Dory Nelson.
The two of you want to get in with your new officers? Please?
They did.
The chief and the lieutenant?
Let's bring Zeke in.
All right. You want to get one more? You want one? You want
Does
to
any
be in that
family
picture?
member want an individual picture? Don't be shy.
Des, take a picture.
Nobody be insulted. You got your camera? I'll take a picture.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're ready to continue with our board meeting. I want to thank everybody, family members, and the police officers for coming tonight. We're on public input. So does anybody in the front row want to get up and talk? Second row?
Sandy Capriglione, Central Valley. I just had some questions about the Earl Reservoir building bids. Did Verticon bid on the first time around?
No.
Okay. Has Verticon done any other projects in Woodbury?
Nope.
Okay. I thought Mr. Fusco would be here tonight, but maybe the board members know. Because I know Mr. Fusco has done other municipal projects in Chester and some other locations with Verticon. Has the board been made aware of any cost overruns or problems with any other Verticon projects?
Not that I know of.
Anybody, any other board members?
Sandy, when we looked at the bids, we did ask Al to review the bids and to compare them and to give us his professional opinion. So it wasn't really based on the amount, whether it was the cheapest. It was we asked him to look at it based on who would be the best fit for the town. So when the recommendations were made, we made our decisions based on whatever he recommended.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I thought maybe he would be here tonight, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
As far as cost overruns, I'm sure, I mean, most of the bids, there's always a cost overrun built in. What is the percentage?
Be perfectly honest with you, we weren't told, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know if there were cost overruns built into each contract?
I'm not aware of that. Al reviewed all the specifics.
Okay. Okay, then you may not know this question either, but and I'm assuming that it's Verticon that's going to be awarded the general construction contract. Will they be the GC for the other three, the other three contracts?
They're the GC for the project,
Okay.
yes.
And is their cost for doing that, is that built into their contract?
Correct.
Okay. And then just my last question, what is the time frame for this project once it starts?
If I'm not mistaken, we all said it would be about, between 2 to 3 months, I think, total.
Okay.
Yeah, weather.
Weather
dependent.
permitting, but obviously they're not going to be starting until April anyway. So
Okay.
I would assume that unless it's raining a lot, they should be able to work on this.
Okay, I'm sorry, I did skip one of my questions. Is the contract number 1, does that include excavation, grading, everything, or is that?
It includes everything that
That's-
was specified in the bid.
Okay, so that was in the bid, okay.
That, Sandy, I know was in the bid,
Okay,
the excavation and the grading
okay,
portion.
okay.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
Sandy, we wanted to make sure also that when we did the comparisons, that it was apples to apples, because that was the thing. We were looking at the differences in the amounts.
Well, it's such a large amount, it's $111,000 difference between the Verticon and the other two, and then there's only $18,000 difference between the other two. That's why I was wondering where the disparity is, but
Well, maybe for once we won't be overpaying.
perhaps, but that's why I was asking. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else wish to get up and talk about what's on the agenda? Okay, so now we'll move on to. Any row that wants to talk. Mr. Smith?
I'm kind of late,
Okay.
but can I address the podium?
What's it? It has to do with the agenda?
Maybe I come a little bit late, so
It's,
we don't want to let the long time don't come in for long.
okay. Mr. Smith is going to talk first.
John Smith, Highland Mills. I know you all remember me from some past town board meetings. I'm here on item G, library minutes, special meeting, and minutes of 2/27.
Okay.
I haven't reviewed their official minutes because they're not approved until the next meeting, which will be in, I think, toward the ends of March. However, you're very fortunate that I have my own minutes from that meeting since I now attend all of them. And
They actually have you down as attending, too.
that's right, you should. They usually leave me off. But I'll remind you that I was there. But anyway, there were two items missing from that agenda. And the two items are the expanding of the time back to 9 o'clock at the Highland Mills Library. As you know, that was not necessary. If they talk about labor that they need and whatever, the closing of that building certainly allows enough people to be there and the time and so forth. If they feel like closing the building for time or hours that they need or whatever, they should try in the morning and maybe not open till 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, noontime, because there's nobody there. People don't start drifting in until they come back from after work. Last night there were people working there. I just happened to be stopping there. I usually go to another library. And I'm sure they would have been very happy to stay until 9 o'clock. There was no reason for that change when it was made. I am not going to let it go. When I was here at the last meeting, I sort of made it a question for you to address or answer, and it seems like you just thought it would kind of just fall by the wayside or whatever?
Well, you know I like you very much, Mr. Commissioner.
Not
And-
much late, not
and-
much more.
And you did ask for that, and I did have a meeting with Sarah, who was the director over there, and I did make it very clear to her that I want to see at least one evening during the week to go to 9 o'clock. And I've made it very clear to them, and so they're working on their schedule and trying to arrange that.
All right, thank you. The other thing,
You're
of
welcome.
course, is the Central Valley Library. There was much discussion about fixing the floor and this and that and so forth. I think the money pit is getting deeper. Mr. Sutz, Mr. Burke, both have inklings to close that building because it was really underutilized, underused. They may try to make it into some child center, whatever. The kids get library in school. When they come home, they go back to different activities or whatever. Maybe some of them come back at night. I'm not so sure because it's kind of scarce. I used to close the libraries, either with Central Valley or Highland Mills. And there were very few children there, very few adults there. But it did serve its purpose to provide for the community. I think they're cutting us off. It's a unilateral cutoff. There was no real discussion. They said they had a survey. It was a survey really looked at carefully about all the other hours and all the other days in the library. For example, I'll give you one of the greatest oxymorons on the face of the earth. We had 2 libraries, and they were both closed on Sunday. Why couldn't one be open on Saturday and the other one open on Sunday? You know, that could be the 11th commandment, maybe the next constitutional amendment. I don't know. But there's something else for you to start thinking about. It's going to be interesting to see how much extra money is being thrown into that library and how people are going to use it, if they use it at all, like it wasn't used that much, it was underutilized really, to see how much money there is, how many maintenance contracts you're going to have, because now you got an elevator. Is it going to increase our insurance costs? And you know, I think once the novelty is through, it'll be same old story. Very few people, very few whatever. It's just a few of us like me that we make use of the libraries and so forth, both of them or whatever. Most towns really only have one, and I think they accommodate their people very well. I just don't feel that we accommodate our taxpayers and adults in this community with the library. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Just want to just mention to you that we basically, discussion is on what's on the agenda. Is that what your discussion is going to be about?
Slightly above that.
Okay. We'll play it along. We'll take it by ear. It's been a long time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure the green light's on. Push the button.
Maybe I secured the light. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and
Better.
gentlemen.
You need to give your name.
Mark St. Omer, a resident of this community for over almost going on 14 years. And like I said, I know quite a few members of the board. Mr. Perlamer and Ms. Hennen, congratulations on your very good groundwork campaigning. I told you the day when I was at man, I saw, I said, I like your style of campaigning.
Thank you.
And you get you the man in charge. So, like I said, I know you have a lot of common sense. Me and you discussed that many years, and I give my respect to you. I missed the graduation class of police in the area, and the police in the area, before with the Hispanic police commissioner, I said those guys are doing a good job. And I noticed in my community, people like myself, I did a survey. We're grown in the community, the diverse community. So I really don't see any too many minority on the police force, and so. But I know you, Mr. Palmer, maybe you have that in you. The makings are in the back burner. I don't know. I know Mr. Palmer, Mr. Burke. I kind of read in his mind very quick. I've been there, so I know that. So when he was at the casino, he told me that out of everyone, I know exactly what he was saying. But I know you, Mr. Palmer. I know you're a smart man, and you have common sense. You may be the most senior in there. So I figure that you guys are working it. I just come down here to say congratulations, Mr. And then I feel a little bit better because I see someone of my type in a voice house. But it really kind of bothered me because I really don't see. I have many candidates. I don't know if they didn't apply for the police jobs. So
We just, I don't mean to cut you off.
No
okay?
problem.
No. We have become a very diverse police department. We've got all nationalities, we've got all kinds of races, and we've got male and female. So maybe you have not seen our whole police department lately, but recently we have hired minorities, and I think you would be very happy with that.
No, but minorities, I don't really see. I kind of have a darker skin. I don't really see anybody of my calibers up there.
We do.
We have a,
Yeah, Medina. Yes. There's the chief of police, and we've hired an officer
No.
named Medina.
You're the chief? Yeah. Well, like the last time, the chief, I feel comfortable with him. I just meet Mr. Medina, so I feel comfortable.
And that's not Mr. Medina. That's Kevin Watson, our chief of police.
No, that's,
Yes. Mr. Medina
oh.
is an officer, a police officer that we hired.
You just want to explain the civil service, Mr. Supervisor?
And also, I'd like to explain, on the civil service, which we just hired 3 people, you have to take from their civil service list. And you have to take by the top 3 candidates, the top 3 scores and averages. And this is what we came out with in our last 3 interviews. We do not go out and search.
No, well, if I did know, call a couple years ago, I did recruit all different ethnicity for I met run accidentally into the lieutenant of recruiting for the New York State Department. And one orderly to me, and he said, I like how you talk. I need some new candidates. And he said that, like, basically, if I can get more manager. I said, no, I can get minority, but I can get people who's qualified for those jobs. And I recommend at least 20 persons, of all different races. You understand me? So if long time I don't really come into the meeting, so I really don't know what's going on. I just really come to congratulate you guys
And we are working towards, it's like I said, we can't just pick, for or by color. It's how it comes out. But we have hired someone. I said Officer Medina. And like I said, we've recently hired another female, so we've got 2. We do have some of Hispanic descent, and I think we're a very diversified group, and I'm very happy with our department.
Officer Castro.
Well, I run into Officer Medina and others, but
I'll give him your license plate number so he can pull you over.
I don't really want to get a ticket. I've been a good citizen.
You have been.
Right.
You have been.
So,
I'm only teasing with you.
Another agenda. I have a couple of things in my mind. You understand me? Our community is possessed with a lot of, I don't know maybe these kids up here, they're spoiled brat. Maybe I want myself to come up here and become spoiled and doing crazy things, and I don't understand. Maybe through the parents are in the city or so, working to pay to live here, so they're on their own. So what the community can assist in helping our young futures on a more stable life when their parents are away making the money to. Because as simple you see, up here we live, it's little bit above the normal. It's good living.
So one of the things on the agenda item tonight is about a recreation building, and there's lots of activities Councilwoman Hernandez has brought up, and then we as a town board to kind of help address some of those. Like, so we want it to be a year-round, building, after-school activities, for children that will hopefully, address some of the concerns. Gives children places to go after school while mom and dad are working and everything else. So it's a great suggestion. It's something that we're working on.
It's like you read my mind, cause I figure that, and I've been to Mr. Hernandez's facility or husband, and I said to them, he's from the city, so basically, you see the agenda what I mean about these kids. And what those kids need is tough, sweet love. You understand me? Nowadays, I explain what's tough, sweet love. And I think you can help direct them in that area. You understand me? Because right now, maybe time my kid is getting older, so maybe time for me now to go back and make some serious money. So, like I say to, I've been down their school, and it's very warm and gentle. And this morning I was in a meeting with parents who's going to join me in my other career, my music business, and she's Mr. Hernandez come in, and I never recognized, and he said 2 words to me, and I realized that it's him, and he's the parents. I introduced him to the parents. The parents say, I'm one of the soccer mom in the area. I recruit from work in the city because I need to be around my parents. That's my full-time job right now. And they were talking. So right now, what we can do, because this is a beautiful town. If we are the 19th best in the whole United States, we have to lead by example.
We're trying.
Lead by example. So I'd suggest, my suggestion, and in anything you need to do, you need some form of funding. If you don't have no funding, it's just a wind coming from your mouth. So, you guys do a feasible study of what with Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, and I think they're from the city, so they basically see the agenda what I'm doing. See the agenda up here. I don't want to be involved in nothing. I'm just with common sense, and we go from there. And
Okay.
another thing, one more thing. Lately, I noticed KJ is basically getting more on Ridge Road. I see they're walking down, so maybe they're gonna take over
That's, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we really try to limit it to what's on the agenda. If you want to talk to me about KJ afterwards,
No,
I will
I'm
gladly
not-
talk to
I'm
you
not
about it.
I'm not. I said I study them.
Okay.
That way, a thing trap and bait. They will take it. It's just common sense, and everything will. You might have to give them a big bait, but for the next 50 years, 100 years, the big bait's supposed to put them abreast till they come up with new different politicians up in Albany, and they put a curveball on you guys. So, congratulations, as I say, and
Thank you.
have a good day.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, let's do the business of the town. I'm going to need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of 3/1/2018.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, we need to approve a modified abstract from the last abstract, from R4 abstract. What it is one check got taken out and will be added to the next one. Do I have a motion and a second to accept the new modified abstract?
Can I read it first?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. It's a revised abstract 4 by voiding voucher 2018-0249, check number 18863 in the amount of $30, which brings the total of the abstract down to $439,408.59.
Thank you, Desiree.
You're welcome.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I need the approval of our abstract number 6. Desiree?
Abstract 6 contains vouchers 2018-0408 through 2018-0523, and totals $326,240.10.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have two budget modifications.
The first is a modification to the budget of the police department by increasing B 599 appropriated fund balance by $24,575 and increasing B 3120.200 equipment, cars, and motorcycles by $24,575.
I need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead, Mike.
Is that part of the loss of one of our vehicles also?
It was the former police chief's, the
That's
current
all right.
police chief's former vehicle.
That's all I need.
Insurance fund.
I'm good, thank
Yep.
you. Just wanted to make sure that's what we clarified, okay.
Okay, do I got we had our discussion. Anybody else? All in favor? Aye. And Desiree, the last one?
The last one is a modification to the budget of the Woodbury Common BID by decreasing SMB 3120.101 Officer FT by $94,085, SMB 3120.102 Police Dog Services by $22,400, and increasing SMB 3120.100 Police Personnel Services by $116,485.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I've got on the new business an appointment that we need to make. It's an appointment of Dana Kuzinskis. Is it close? Okay. As animal/dog control officer at an UPSI grade 1 at $16.36 per hour, effective 3/26/18. She's been a temporary since September, and Pam has written to me and asked that she be put on, moved off of temporary and to be put into the system, and we're going to vote on that tonight. So I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anyone discussion?
Just a question, Desiree, was she a provisional, or was she just a,
She was hired as
Temporary.
a temporary
Temporary.
position, and the temporary positions pursuant to the county civil service is only for a specific period, which would be ending on the 25th. So basically, it was a trial period, and Pam feels that she's ready to be regular employment.
thank you for clarification.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now we're going to go to old business. The acceptance of bids for Earl Reservoir Recreation Building. Town clerk Desiree Podvin noted the bid opening was held on March 6, 2018, and the notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on February 13, 2018, and the following bids were received. For Contract 1, General Construction, Verticon Ltd. from Monroe, $249,000. Barone Construction, Highland, New York, $360,000. The Walkill Group, Vernon, New Jersey, $378,000. And can I see it? The contract number 2 was for electrical. That was for LKM Ltd. Cornwall on the Hudson for $38,500. That's $38,500. Rotolo Electric, Middletown, New York, $46,988. Power with Prestige, Newton, New Jersey, $48,025. Ray Pantel, Middletown, New York, for $68,000 even. The third contract, HVAC, had one bid. Westar Tech Services, Middletown, New York, $29,975. And then contracting for plumbing, again, Westar, we only had one bid. Westar Tech Services, Middletown, New York. He originally bid for $109,975, and Al spoke to him and was able to get that down to $101,095. So correspondence has been received from Engineer Fusco recommending the lowest bidders be awarded the contracts, which would be contract 1, General Construction, Verticon. Contract number 2, Electrical, LKM Ltd. Contract 3, HVAC, Westar Tech Services. And contract number 4, Plumbing, $101,095, was West Tech Services. So I need a motion and a second to award those following contracts.
Frank, can we go into this, discussion real quick?
Exactly.
I first need a
No, not
one
discussion.
and a second, then we can
I'll make
discuss
the
it.
motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, now you can discuss it.
Okay. Prior to, I just wanted to, if possible, have Desiree explain the bidding process, if that's possible.
I can to the best of my ability, sure.
Just-
At a previous meeting, from the very beginning, okay, at a previous meeting, Al was asked to revise the plans from the previous plans to bring it down a little bit in scale. He submitted those plans to the supervisor's office, I believe. Back in December, I think it was, he was authorized to relet the project based on the revised plans. We had my office receives those bids. It's a $50 bid check that has to be submitted. I'm sorry, $50 payment has to be submitted to pick up a set of plans. We did not charge anyone who previously picked up plans because that wouldn't be fair since we rebid the project. The bids are collected by me or someone in my staff. They are sealed, taped. They are not opened until the bid opening, which, as the supervisor read, was held on March 6th. At 10 a.m., I collected all the bids I had in my office. I checked to make sure that there was nobody in the lobby that was holding a bid that didn't submit it. At 10 o'clock on the dot, according to the clock in the meeting room, which is the official clock for that particular purpose, I announced that the bid opening was now closed. So if anyone had any bid, it was too late to now submit. Engineer Fusco was here as well. I handed him a letter opener and the bids in order of contract, if they were labeled accordingly. And he sliced each envelope open and opened it, read it, put it back in the envelope, handed me the envelope. I jotted it down. And then when we were all done, he took all the envelopes because then he reviews them to make sure that it's the lowest responsible bidder. That's the key word there, responsible bidder. And then he prepares a document to recommendation to you, returns all the bids to me. I give Eileen the money, she deposits it. Is that good?
Perfect, thank you.
Desiree, could you?
Yes.
Maybe go back, you may know quicker, I'm trying to review my minutes. We get a total for this, and then what was the allocation that the Parks and Recs had in their budget to build? I think we spoke about that in
I,
one of
I
our
don't
meetings.
have those
I
number.
could give you
You have
those.
that?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
I don't have the exact, I didn't add up these numbers as to
Right.
what the total is.
The total's slightly higher than I believe what we have in
Yeah, oh, no,
parkland fees.
yes, we do. We have $275,000 that are sitting in the parks funds. We also have a building fund that's completely separate, which is used for, which can be used for any building that the town wants to build, basically. That's what it's there for. I have close to, just under $500,000 sitting in that account. And what I've spoke to the board about on Monday evening was that we would take out, there are still 35 building permits out there, which would, once they get the CO, would collect $3,500 from each one on a CO. This project should take, as we said, between closer to 3 months. And so hopefully in that time, the parks will pick up even more money, and that we will take out the difference from the town's building fund and make up that difference. We're not going to go out and get any bonds or pay any interest on it. We'll just pay for it in, as they say, good old cash and move forward. I've spoken to each member on the town board. They don't have a problem with it. They agree with it. And so we're going to move forward, and you'll see through the vote whether they want it or not. So.
And as I stated at the work session, I did research the minutes to determine when and how that building reserve was created. It was created back, I think it was either 2000 or 2001. It was quite a while ago. And it was just for building within the general fund, which this qualifies under.
Thank you for clarification.
Thank you. The other thing that we wanted to discuss with this while we're here is a discussion of this recreational building and the purpose of the recreational building, not just being a building just for the summer, but that it would be used throughout the year, so that it's a location for a program, year-round program that would be available to the community. And some of the programs, what we're hoping would, in the long run, generate funds that would be used by the Parks Department to, again, fill these areas, you know, especially with the amount of money that's going to be spent. You know, we're looking to be the most fiscally responsible in looking at programs and activities that are going to be done in this building that would benefit the community and also allow us to replenish the amount of money that's going to be used.
Okay, I just took out my handy calculator from my phone, and it comes to $418,570. I know that the last time we got bids, they were up in the $500,000 and higher. So yeah, so I think it was very smart on the board's decision to not take the last bids and to move forward. And I'm very happy with it, and I think it's something that this town needs. And we're going to move forward on this. I know that Bob's been pushing it. We all have been, and let's see how they vote. So.
Mr. Supervisor, he can't talk.
You can't talk right now, please.
Mr. Supervisor, could you have the record reflect what Councilwoman Hernandez stated, that we will use the rec center for, what is it, after day care or something?
Well, that's not going to be its only use, Michael.
No,
She said programs that will generate funds to be used at the Parks Board to fill in areas that will provide programs and activities that will benefit the community.
Okay, thank you.
It's a year-round building.
That's what I want to
Yeah.
make sure. Okay.
Yeah, it will be used year-round. It will have heat and it will have air. I would like to state, also for the record, that I will abstain from the vote due to the fact that I do have a family member that works for one of these award-winning companies, so I will abstain and we'll move forward on the vote. Desiree?
Yes.
No, I don't want you to vote.
I can't vote. I know.
No, I know.
Are you
Just-
asking me to poll the board?
I'm asking you to poll the board, please.
Okay, sorry. Councilman Hunter?
Yes.
Councilman Arone?
Yes.
Supervisor Palermo?
Abstain.
Councilman Essig?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hernandez?
Yes.
Thank you. I almost said Gianzaro.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm sure the Parks Commissions appreciate it. And now I will go through the.
Just one thing I'd like to
Sure.
add, you know, Councilman Hunter, thank you for, reviewing that stuff you were involved in regards to checking, the HVAC and the plumbing. So, thanks for your help on that too.
Okay, let's move forward with the department reports. Keep forgetting, I'm supposed to read the supervisor's report. Oh, you want to read it? Go ahead.
I usually do, but you can. if
Okay,
you'd
no,
like.
no, no, go right ahead.
The supervisor's report for February 2018 shows receipts totaling $643,862.99 and disbursements totaling $902,278.93.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I did receive the town clerk's report for February 2018. Did not receive a buildings and grounds. I have the ACO report from February 2018. The police communications report, February 2018. The beautification committee had no meeting. I think it was one of the days that we had snow, so they did not meet. The library, we've got minutes from the special meeting of 2/20/2018 and the minutes of 2/27/2018. Parks and Recreation, 2018.
It's February- it's February
February,
20th.
yeah, I think that would be
February
easier, yeah.
20th, yes.
Okay. And budget versus actual from February 2018.
Just a quick question.
Sure,
The police communications report,
yes.
did the rest of the board get that? 'Cause I didn't receive it.
I didn't get one either, matter of fact.
You know, I think somebody also said to me that it wasn't on, so I may have not sent it to you, and I will gladly do that as soon as possible.
Okay, and what happens to buildings and grounds?
They didn't hand something in, I will speak to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't see it on the attachment, Bob.
You do?
I don't.
No, I think the.
I don't see it.
Yeah, okay, I know, I didn't send it.
That's okay.
I'll get it out to you, I promise.
Okay, that's all, thanks.
File a foil, I'll get it for you.
We have 5
Okay.
days to fill that foil.
Not a problem, I got it.
We'll have it in a minute,
Okay.
watch. We'll have it in a
Got
minute.
Let's go with the board members' comments. Jackie, Councilwoman, Deputy Supervisor.
So I wanted to congratulate the officers that got sworn in today. I think as always, we wanted to make sure that our police department is at working at full capacity. And with recent events that happened in Florida, I think all of the school districts have realized that, and even in our community, there are so many variables that we don't take into account. So having a full functioning police department is important. The other item is that with the recreational department, I'm really looking forward to working with the department head as well as the department for the new programs that we're looking to bring. I think as a parent and resident of this community, the programs that are offered to children are very limited. And I think as our community tries to really address these areas, we're looking at not just addressing the areas for the after-school program, but to also hopefully bring programs that would include our teenagers. I think our teenagers are a much forgotten population in this community. And so to provide program for them and a place for them to be where they can grow and be nurtured as young adults rather than unfortunately being on technology, I think we would provide a great asset to this community. In addition to hopefully funneling these young adults into mentorship relationships with professionals in our community. I did speak with the chief in reference to some of the programs that are being offered by the police department, and we're hoping that when he's at that capacity, we can begin to offer those programs to teenagers that are possibly interested in following a career in the police department. Other than that, thank you so much for coming out and supporting at the town board meeting.
Councilman Essex.
Let me just say, the last storm, I definitely want to give a big shout out and I mean, the highway department was phenomenal. Seriously, they were out there all night. I actually went out. A couple of trucks came by. I asked them if they wanted something. These guys they were out there all night. I commend them. They fought that storm. It was a hard storm. You could see how heavy that snow was, and they did a great job. The roads were good the next morning, as you tried to stretch out. But I will say another thing is that I was impressed by 32 too. It actually got better. Actually the other night I saw a truck, an actual plow truck on 32 about 1 o'clock as I was rolling in 1 o'clock in the morning coming home from the city. And I said, I just couldn't believe they were out there because usually we don't see a truck on 32. So it was pretty good. So I just want to say that let's keep up the pressure on the state to keep the road. That's a state road. It's a very busy road.
All the time, Mike.
Yeah, it's a good thing because let me tell you. Another thing, congratulations to the officers today who were sworn in. They come with a wealth of knowledge, as Chief Watson stated. They'll probably bring a lot of experience to the department, which is our community is growing, which we need. And I wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Councilman Arone?
No comments.
Okay, Councilman Hunter?
I'd like to congratulate the officers, too, and also thanks to Chief Watson and Lieutenant Phillips for once again bringing the cream of the crop to Woodbury. Thank you.
Desiree?
Yeah, I just want to announce again that the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce is hosting a community event on April 21st from 6 to 9. It's a murder mystery dinner. It's $50 per person. You can send reservations or drop them off here with me at Town Hall or with Joey when you see him walking around out there on the streets plowing roads as well. It's going to be a great community event, and we hope that everybody takes advantage of it, just like we're doing community activities and programs for our youth. I feel our adults also need some things to do. The pancake breakfast and the pasta dinner that we do in memory of John Burke has always been very well attended, and everyone loves coming out and socializing and meeting their neighbors who they might not know. So the Chamber's trying to do more events like that, as well as are the other community events and community organizations in town, the Knights of Columbus, the Lions Club, and whatnot. So this new building may also be a benefit to the adult population to have different functions that we can host there at night that may be more cost effective than having to use a venue that has an overhead charge. So that's great.
Mr. McKay?
I just have a few items to discuss with the board in attorney-client session.
Okay. Chief?
I just want to reiterate something that Councilman Essex said about with regard to the fantastic job that the Highway Department has done in the last few storms. I also wanted to acknowledge the Building and Grounds Department for the recent repairs and ongoing repairs they've done to our station. I also want to reiterate a point that I've stated several times in the past. It looks like we may have another weather event coming up. Like always, I always caution people to stay off the roads if they need to. If they absolutely have to be on there, I understand that, but only in an emergency situation. If you guys are painfully aware, we have 2 officers that are out on injury as a result of someone traveling on the roads that didn't need to be traveling. 2 officers out, 2 officers injured, 1 police car destroyed, 1 car, in need of serious repair. So again, as I stated, if it's not necessary to go out in a weather event, I would ask you to stay home, use public transportation, and heed the advice of our media. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I've got a few things that I'd like to just mention. First off, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Jackie Hernandez. I've always tried to stress to the board and the public. In fact, we've got a nice sign up there that says, "See something, say something," which has something to do with this. I know I'm always cruising on all my emails that come in, and we all get emails, and Jackie happened to get an email that had to do with a grant for the historical our historical buildings. And she sent it off to the Historical Society, and I had discussions with them, and we ended up getting that grant. And what that grant was for was to check out our historical building and to see if there were any things that needed to be repaired. And they gave us a list of a couple of things. And now once we've had that grant, awarded, we can now go on and apply for the second grant to actually get the stuff fixed. So I want to thank Councilwoman for spotting that and sending it out. I know I'm constantly sending out things as other people are. You know, Joey, I send him stuff, and everybody else to, at least try for the application, try for the grant. We may not get them, but at least we're trying, and we're trying very hard to get that stuff done. I want to also thank Councilman Essex, who has started a program of See Something, Say Something, which is what's up there on the board. While we were down at the Association of Towns, he met with some law enforcement agencies, and he's had delivered to our town boxes full of literature and small things, keychains and a whole bunch of assorted things. And I thank him for taking that on, and I wish you the best of luck, and let's get out there and get it done. I can tell you that it works because I know that in the town clerk's office, they saw something suspicious, called me over, we called the police, and I think Officer Farrow actually says, "Oh yeah, no, I saw that guy walking around." I said, "Well, why don't you go check it out then?" So it's working, and I appreciate that. Well, not last, but the Easter egg hunt has been moved to March 31st. I think that their concern was no one would find white eggs in the white snow, so we're going to move it out, and hopefully by then it'll all be gone. And last and not least, I had a wonderful, wonderful lunch today up at the Senior Center for St. Patty's Day. They invited me, and I went. I guess I was the guest of honor because I got to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and I got to pull the 50-50 ticket. Chief Watson was serving up there. Some of the new officers showed up, and, well, we put them to work also. So it was a very nice event. I thank the seniors. Had a great time, and I look forward to their next event. And that's about it. So we're going to go into a executive session, attorney-client meeting. So we're not going to make any so I can close the meeting and we can go in. Okay. So I need a motion and a second to close the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need to make a motion and a second, and I don't need to do that, so I won't. Okay. Let's move on, and thank you, everyone, for coming out, and be safe on Tuesday.